if somehow the traditional medical system, for example, had the answers to what we see, which is not functioning, which is not working, maybe things would be different. But unfortunately, while we see all of this going on, while we see all this fiasco in terms of, you see all the big money that is being made. I mean, we're talking about big money. I mean, the food industry is making 6 trillion a year. This is the largest industry in the world. You see, while we see all of that, unfortunately, we don't have a medical system that has been effective, at a very high level in terms of really offering the solutions, and we're talking about permanent solution, a solution that will actually get someone better, for life, not just again kind of participating in the whole process where now it's just more money being made. You see, unfortunately, we can talk about chemotherapy, but I mean, it hasn't proven that it's doing any better. It hasn't proven that people actually cure from cancer while they do chemotherapy. Chemotherapy has been proven to actually help multiply cancerous cells. You see, so you have all these things, but again, media won't talk about it. It's not publicized. It's not a popular topic, but again, it's there. You see, so we live in strange days, strange times. And again, it's an economic society, you see, economic society, which means, okay, if this is an economic society, well, it means that the economy is supposed to be our strength, okay? If I say that such and such tribe is known for being hunters, wouldn't it make sense that pretty much everybody from that tribe knows how to hunt because it's their strength? They are recognized in this discipline. Remember in the Olympic Games, I remember back in the days in the Olympics when Russia or the USSR, back in the days when it was still the USSR, we knew that their strength was, let's say, gymnastics. And that at the minute they arrived at these Olympics, we knew that that country was going to get out of these Olympics with, X amount of medals because their strength is gymnastics. So we knew that when it comes to gymnastics and powerlifting and things like that, that countries such as Russia or USSR back in the days would come out with top medals and things like that. So they are known for being good. They are known for being good, let's say, in specific disciplines. So where am I taking you? Okay, I'm taking you somewhere. What I'm trying to say is this: is that if this is an economic society, well, shouldn't the economy be our strength? How come an economic society is dominated by poverty? You see? How come a society which is a technological society? Okay? See, we have, this society is a technological society, economic society, a society of entertainment, a society of media and telecommunications, social media. I mean, you see all these dominant influences. These are all realms in this society that are kind of dominating, okay? And of course, we can add government and we can add education. But again, I'm looking at really what's kind of, influencing the most. So how come with all the technology that is out there, okay, we still have a death rate, that is going on the rise? We are an economic society, but again, it's dominated by poverty, you see? So we live in these strange days, really, you see? And it seems, okay, with all these different elements I'm pointing out, it seems that most people, okay, most people have their futures already sacrificed, you see? We don't realize it, but your future has been sacrificed. Your future has been sacrificed. By who? Well, the most dominating conglomerates, those who collectively somehow, because of the nature of the industries they command, are kind of making decisions on your behalf. You see, when I say, for example, as I was mentioning earlier, okay, that a country like Canada is presenting more than 200 people dying every day of cancer, Well, if it's happening, it simply means that somehow decisions have been made behind the scenes, you see, on your behalf. You see, somebody's decided on your behalf. You see, so it almost seems that lives have been sacrificed in advance, that our lives collectively, because of certain decisions that have been made behind the scenes, that most people's lives have been sacrificed. Your futures have been sacrificed. In a sense that with lack of information or revelation, people will go through life kind of undergoing what's going on. You see, you're kind of always in a reaction mode. You are reacting to what's going on. You are reacting to just circumstances, reacting to what the market is offering. Well, you may be not realizing that whenever something or a new product or something is in the market, well, there's been a time where it's been discussed behind scenes, behind scenes, it's been discussed. There were meetings about it, and some people, some groups were involved in the process, and they knew that, yes, this is the next big thing. We will infiltrate and invade the market with this next big thing. But most people will react to what's offered, but they're not necessarily participating behind the scenes to what's going to be offered. You see? So now if you take it from that context and you now associate it with what I'm saying, trying to make you understand that in the same idea, you see, decisions are being made that are sacrificing or that have sacrificed, let's say, part of your future has been sacrificed. You see, because the way what you eat is decided by the big distribution channels. See, they decide what you're going to eat. Because even if you want to eat natural, and you just say that you want to make sure that your diet has lots of greens, but again, the spinach you're eating today doesn't carry the same type of vitamins it carried 50 or 100 years ago. You see, so the intention might be good, but again, what the distribution system is offering you is still not, at the end of the day, giving you the best of what you should get. You see, you're still lacking. There's still a deficiency in that sense. So when you understand it that way, now you can see that indeed, lives are being sacrificed. Decisions have been made behind the scenes that are actually affecting people's lives, you see. So we live in these strange days, and we have to make sure we are connected to the right way of thinking, to the right information, to the right revelation, because revelation will impact results. You see, a revelation is simply what makes you see what you couldn't see before. You see, whatever was in the dark and now you can see it, then that means that revelation brought light to something that you couldn't see or understand before. So we need revelation, you see. We need revelation to know that there's another way, you see, there's alternate ways to actually fix what we maybe think is unfixable. Okay, we might see that, well, maybe it's just normal that people have to die this much of cancer and all these chronic diseases, that people must live in pain. We get used to the fact that maybe it's normal, but no, it's not normal. You see, so we got to get to the point where we want to unnormal what we think is normal and bring revelation so we could present the real normal, so that people discover the real normal and find out that this is the real normal and whatever they had before was the unnormal. See, so we kind of have to bring people there. You see, because what you think is normal is not normal. So we got to present to you a revelation to take you out of the unnormal and take you to the real normal, so that you can now look at what you thought was normal, and so that you can now see it as the unnormal. You see what I mean? So this is where we're at today. And talking again about, to bring it back again to that initial question, difference between business and entrepreneurship. Well, you see, business, in a sense or in a way, produced what I just spoke about. You see, I mentioned we live in strange days. You look at it, it seems that people's lives have been sacrificed. Futures have been sacrificed by economic decisions. You see, people, it is now said that children, the generation of our children, It is said. It doesn't mean that you have to believe it. It doesn't mean that I have to believe it, you see, because I know what I need to do to kind of change that, you see. But it is now said that the generation of our children is actually programmed to live shorter. That generation is programmed to live a shorter life, shorter lives compared to the generation of the parents. So does that make sense? It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all, you see. So, and this is how far, you see, the notion of business can take you, where, you are caught up in the whole realm of what is profitable, and it could be to the expense of people losing their lives. But again, the business books mention that profit is still rolling, and business goes on as usual, you see. Now, entrepreneurship doesn't work the same. Once again, you see, I give you all these different, I took you into a different journey just to show how, how far it could go, and to show you the difference between, how business operates versus how entrepreneurship operates. You see, example, entrepreneurship, today, if I stay with this example in terms of natural health and how demographics and life expectancy, everything I'm talking about now, we have now groups of companies that are now leading the way in natural health, that are using now the same technology, that's been used to industrialize nature, okay, into kind of a, produce it just like in a factory and everything. That same technology is also used today to actually keep nature, pure and intact, and be able to offer groundbreaking products. You see, there are, ladies and gentlemen, groundbreaking products. You see, but again, you're not gonna hear about them, through the traditional media, channels, okay, or media networks. But there are, alternatives. For example, one that I came across myself recently, and that completely blew my mind. You see, the cannabis revolution, the CBD, cannabis oil. Do you know that there is a system within the human body, okay, called the endocannabinoid system? That endocannabinoid system is actually the master regulator of the whole human body. It regulates everything. It's a very complex system within the human body. Very, very amazing. And even modern medicine did not know the endocannabinoid system. It was not discovered until, let's say, 30 years ago. You see? So in the cannabis plant, you have what people know as what produces the marijuana, okay, the drug. And that is, of course, that was a banned substance. It was illegal. Again, laws have been changing recently, and it started to be legalized. But again, on the other side of what produces the marijuana in the cannabis plant, you have the hemp, okay? And the hemp produces the cannabidiol oil, okay? So what we know today as the CBD. So the CBD has 0.3% of THC. So I mean, you're not going to find any substance that will make you high. So, but it has all kinds of medicinal benefits that are completely unheard of. You see, the cannabidiol, the CBD, it has that oil actually speaks to the endocannabinoid receptors that are found everywhere into the human body. And that's the system which is called the master regulator of the human body. It regulates everything, from your heart, from everything, from your blood pressure, it regulates everything, the pain management, it regulates everything. I mean, it's just fascinating, really, you see? So when regulations changed, and in the US, they've now allowed the hemp to be commercialized and the CBD now to penetrate the markets. Well, this is a whole game changer, you see. But it's through entrepreneurship now that we're finding companies offering the CBD in a format with a technology that delivers the oil that you can receive in a permanent way, a patch, for example, that can last up to 24 hours, where you get a full delivery with that oil, and everything regulates just like that. I mean, I've seen people unable to walk, unable to walk, wearing, wearing, I mean, how do you call that again? I mean, those wearing knee pads, unable to walk, in a matter of minutes, being able to walk again. I've seen people from my own network. I've seen people affected with a stroke and with a paralysis on one side of the body and unable, let's say, to move one arm. And after being posed that patch, the CBD patch, they start to move the arm again. You see, I mean, and all these things were hidden from the general public. You see, the pharmaceutical industry knew that if such information is now handed to the general public, they would lose 45% of their market, of what's bringing them revenue, you see. So this is where, you see, business versus entrepreneurship, this is where you can see the difference, between business and entrepreneurship. You can see the difference clearly right there, where one of them is a servant, is a passionate, is a revolutionary at heart, and one of them will want to invest into eternal values, into things that have eternal value. In a sense that an entrepreneur wants to see that whatever is offering, whatever's offered, whatever he's offering, whatever his movement is promoting, the hope he's promoting and everything, you want to see that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that hope can grow generation after generation, giving people the same opportunity for change and for a better life, you see. But in the other hand, business does not function that way, you see. Yes, a business wants to still make money in 10 years, but a business doesn't necessarily invest into eternal values. You see, when I say eternal values, things that will have an eternal value, an eternal value element in terms of the recipient of, let's say, the product or service. You see, when the foods that are being sold or the medication that are being sold are shortening people's lives, we're not talking about eternal value. You see, because at the end of the day, life is being cut short. You see, so that's how far it could go. That's how far it could go. And that's how far this comparison could be and can go between what's an entrepreneur and what's a businessman. When it comes to the subject of